All right, everyone, let's get right into it and let's start off with a conclusion. Today, we are talking about TONX, which is a stock that is essentially a strategy stock for the cryptocurrency TON. And we'll be going over the thesis, the invalidation, and everything today. So, yeah, let's start off with the conclusion. So TONX is the best low risk, high reward way to bet on TON. If TON goes down, TONX might not go down as much. If TON runs hard, then TONX at least runs as hard as TON and likely more. Okay, we saw that with MSTR, we saw that with and Bitcoin, and we saw that with Per and Hyperliquid. It's a very simple, I guess, I don't know. They've got good Ponzi-nomics, these strategy tokens or stocks, let's say, these strategy stocks, okay? So it's a potential for high reward and lower risk. Now, concerning TON, it has a lot of things going for it, and it should run this bull run. It can potentially outperform Bitcoin, but if the unlocks are completely sold every month, this could cook the trade, okay? So first things first, because this is a strategy token of the token TON, it's super important to understand why I am bullish on TON. Because if you're bearish on TON, then I mean you could make a short-term trade on TONX regarding the MNAV and its discount, but honestly, it's probably not a good idea. If you are bullish on TON though, then TONX can make a lot of sense. Okay, so why bet on TON? What is the thesis? So since the price of TON is very important for this trade, what is the bull case for it and what is the bear case? Bull case. I am a crypto bull in general. Typically, alts should run if Bitcoin runs. I think Bitcoin has already bottomed, or we have one lower low to be created before entering the bull market again. Either way, the bull market is getting closer and closer to starting. If this is the case, TON should at least run somewhat, okay? So even from a non very bullish perspective, I think we can all agree that if a bull market happens, TON should at least run a little bit, right? And so that allows us to get a good opportunity here with TONX. The extra bullish case is that TON now has a goated founder pushing it forward, which it didn't have before. Before it was run a lot by the TON Foundation, but now Pavel Durov is basically taking over the place for the TON Foundation. We'll get into it a bit later. And he can have a huge impact on TON running, as he already did in this short-term pump here. Okay, he can do that for the rest of the bull run, basically. The narratives that surround TON can continue to grow. The goated founder narrative, along with Telegram having billions of users that can be brought on chain, along with the AI narrative. And I think TON has real potential to outperform Bitcoin during the bull run. Okay. I also think just so many people use Telegram that, depending on the situation, but I think Pavel will do his best to allow everyone to start using TON more. A lot of people already use Telegram, especially in crypto. So I think getting people to bridge onto TON chain should be pretty easy for him. Okay. Now, one thing that I didn't mention much is the AI narrative. Many people use Telegram with AI, and Pavel Durov really has a great opportunity to make Telegram a great network that AI can use to transact with each other. AI has already been massive, and the reflexivity of AI is pretty remarkable. In stocks, the AI trade has been taking place for a while, and of course, there's a high chance. Sorry, there's a chance, small chance, that the AI meta has topped, but I think it's unlikely. AI is too useful. I think it will be here forever, and I think it will just continue to get better and better, and also cheaper. So yeah, with that being said, what does, I guess, Pavel Durov have to do with AI and whatever? But since he has taken over from the TON Foundation, he has made some very good improvements, which led to this short-term pump and should lead to a long-term pump and long-term outperformance. So he is the founder of Telegram, and now Telegram has replaced the TON Foundation. Okay, so Pavel is basically the Vitalik of TON. We have seen the goated dev or goated leader narrative many times in crypto. We've seen Luca Nets. A lot of my audience would be familiar with that. I am very confident that Pavel understands the game and can lead TON well enough to capture this narrative of being a goated dev. He has already made quite a few steps in the right directions very quickly for TON, and I expect him to continue to do so. As I already mentioned, like, we had this short-term pump. These were a couple things that he did, including a couple AI upgrades along with general chain upgrades. And these upgrades should continue to happen as time goes on because he knows what to do. He's a pretty smart guy, and I also have a lot of respect for him just for who he is. So yeah, why would we buy TONX as opposed to TON spot, right? So I said I'm bullish on TON. So why would I buy TONX, the stock, when I could just buy TON? But I think the question is, why wouldn't you buy TONX as opposed to TON? Okay, so you could check this data on tonstrat.com. This is their TONX's. Their name is Ton Strategy. Their ticker is TONX. So Ton Strategy's website is tonstrat.com, and you could check all the data on their analytics section of the website. You could check the ton price, the TONX price. You could check how many tokens they hold, and then you could also check the MNAV. You could check everything you need. Okay, so looking at this right here, Ton Strategy right now holds $442 million worth of ton. Okay, and their market cap is only 200 million. Okay, so basically, as you can see, they have the number right here. It's at a 56% discount of market cap compared to how much USD they hold. Okay, that's pretty remarkable. If you saw that on MSTR, for example, I mean, that would get bid up right away. So at face value, basically we can get access to their ton holdings at a 56% discount. Instead of buying ton right now at $1.98, we're basically buying it at 0.87. Okay, the question is, why is there a discount? Are we missing something? Because the market likes to price assets properly. I don't know if there's a discrepancy. The market will buy one asset or buy the other to make that discrepancy irrelevant anymore. And as I gave the example of MSCR, we see that all the time with these strategy tokens. But why is there a discount for ton strategy? Okay, so I try to do as much research. I will say there's no guarantee I know the reason though. So I've looked at all the most probable reasons and I've outlined them here, but I could be missing something else. So also, if you know, feel free to comment and I'll incorporate it into, I guess, my next video. But yeah, the first thing, fear of more dilution. So these strategy tokens, they issue more shares, and then basically by creating those more shares, people buy those shares, and then with that money, they will use it to buy the cryptocurrency. So Michael Saylor has been doing this for a while, and the supply of MSTR has gone up a ton in the past because he just keeps printing more shares. Now, the reason why TONX won't do this is because they're at MNAV discount currently. So the way it works is if you are at an MNAV premium, if you issue more shares and then you buy a cryptocurrency with the money you raised, then your MNAV will actually increase. So it actually benefits the shareholders. But you wouldn't raise money and you wouldn't inflate your shares if the MNAV is at a discount. Okay? So the last time Ton Strategy, they did a raise and they diluted the supply a ton. It was quite a while ago. Let me see. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was when their MNAV was at a premium. I think it was somewhere around here. I could be wrong though. But oh, it was August. Wait, yeah, it was August. So it was here. So they raised a ton of money. They printed a bunch of shares and they just aped a bunch of ton. Okay? But and a lot of people might be fearful right now that they will do that again, but they're not going to do that until this MNAV stops being at a discount. Okay, that's a guarantee. If they were to do any raise when their MNAV is at a discount, I would get out fully because it shows incompetent leadership. But I don't think they will. It makes no sense to. Remember, they're the biggest shareholders of Ton Strategy stock. So obviously they're going to do what's best for the shareholders because they are the biggest shareholders. Okay. So yeah. The next thing, fear of new leadership. So there was a CEO change. I think it was very recent, like a month ago. And as far as I can tell, the new CEO, Kevin Wilson, is actually a great person for the job. He has experience with crypto, Forex, and hedge funds. He also has many institutional connections. This is a bit of a stretch, but he could potentially shill ton to. I don't know I should do more research in this, if he can actually make a difference. Probably not, but I just added that because it's a possibility, but unlikely. But the fact that he has experience with crypto, Forex, and hedge funds, like he understands the game. I'm very confident this guy understands the game and he's going to make a lot of steps in the right direction. Because of the new CEO and who he is, I genuinely think that it is a near 50% chance for the MNAV to become neutral again short term. Short term meaning by around August of 2026, as that is when their next earnings call is. And that should, I mean, if their earnings are good, let's say their regular business stops losing money, then that could be a bullish sign, especially to the stock bros who I think are a little bit behind on the strategy meta. I think they don't fully understand how this works and the second and third order consequences of these things. So I think that's partly why there's a mispricing, because the stock bros don't understand it. And like a lot of people in crypto, they don't want to buy a stock. So yeah. But yeah, new CEOs can be very bullish. Kevin Wilson so far has great goals, all aligned with the Ponzi-nomics of a strategy business. So basically, they just had an earnings call in May, and since he's the new CEO, he was basically like, yeah, our main goal is to increase our ton per share, basically saying all the stuff that Michael Saylor says about MSTR, about Bitcoin, right? So yeah, he understands the game. He's gonna do his best to make sure that the Ponzi continues. Let's say. Okay, next thing: fear of losses from the regular business. The regular business, which is a live streaming business, is losing money constantly. This is not unusual for strategy businesses. Usually, they change strategies to become a strategy stock because their original business is doing poorly. I wouldn't be surprised if the new CEO, Kevin Wilson, who is a competent individual, would completely take away this fear, as he understands losing money is not good, right? Like, this guy is a competent guy. I think he understands how strategy businesses work. I think he's going to cut their losses as much as possible, lower the expenses of the live streaming business to ensure they lose less money. Additionally, the profits from their ton that they hold, which they stake, and even their cash holdings, can allow the business to survive without selling any ton for quite a few years. So even in the case that he doesn't lower the expenses and the losses of the live streaming business, it still should be fine. And other strategy stocks such as also have a business that is losing money, and their stock was able to run anyways. And if you look at the profits generated, like if you look at the financials of and ton strategy, like they're losing about the same amount in terms of market cap percentage. So I don't want to go into all the details, but basically was able to run a lot. I should actually pull it up. Let's see if I can. But was able to run quite a bit. As you can see, it's just only up, even though they have a similar situation to ton strategy, in the sense that they're constantly losing money from their regular business. Okay, so it shouldn't be a real issue. The reason why this might be an issue is actually more of the narrative around it. Okay, the narrative around losing money is just not as present for because Hyperliquid has gone up. So basically, the same thing can happen for ton strategy. If ton goes up and it continues to go up, then that narrative will go away. That bearish narrative will go away, which is bullish, because less bearish narratives is bullish, obviously. Okay, so this is what I think the biggest problem is: lack of confidence in ton. This is completely fair, but if you are bullish on ton, which I may be, which I am, it is not a consideration. Plus, theoretically speaking, the market should price TONX at least at MNAV neutral, considering ton's current price. So that last part that I said, it's not the best point, I would say. Yeah, like MNAV neutral, yes, it should theoretically be there, but especially considering they get a lot of revenue from staking. But the market is, if the market is pricing in ton coin going to zero, let's say, obviously they're going to price ton strategy stock at zero as well, right? So yeah, but yeah, if ton goes up, like, this should be a very easy play. And once again, speaking about the whole situation, especially the conclusion, which I said at the beginning, ton strategy, because it's at a discount, it means if ton runs and this discount goes away, we make profits from ton going up, and we also make profits from the discount disappearing. And in a certain situation, we could even get to a premium, which I mean, in a frothy market situation, it could easily get to, and that would provide insane returns. Okay, so the bear case for ton token. So once again, if ton does poorly, then ton strategies will also do poorly. Okay, but if ton goes up, then we're chilling. But the bear case for ton, number one, Bitcoin doesn't enter a bull run. Okay, this would be catastrophic, right? If Bitcoin just never goes into a bull run, Bitcoin's dead from now on, then yeah, of course. Ton is probably dead as well. There's obviously a chance it doesn't die with Bitcoin, but probably a 1% chance, right? So if if Bitcoin never enters another bull run, then that's a bear case. But I think that's unlikely. I am very confident, and every single smart person I know thinks the bull run will eventually continue. Um, and so I think we're chilling. We might create a new low. We might go down below this low of 60K, right? We might go to 30K even, but everyone I know, every smart trader in crypto that's made millions and millions of dollars believes that eventually we will bottom and enter a new bull run, okay? Um, we don't know how low we could go. Who knows? It's all up in the air, but we'll keep monitoring this as time goes on. But maybe the bottom's already in. Maybe we have a lower low. Either way, long term, ton should still be fine. But yeah, okay. Unlocks for ton. This is a huge one. This can be a huge issue if the unlocks are sold. So far, not being sold. So the main issue is the bearish narrative that can form around unlocks. Okay, so let's show you what I mean. Since October of 2025, let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, October 22, 2025. This amount of tokens are here. It's 36 million tokens every single month are being unlocked. The amount of dollars worth, I mean, it varies depending on the price, but right now it's about 70 million a month are unlocked. Okay. Now the question is, who are these people that are getting the unlocks? That's a big question. It is the Ton Believers Fund. So basically, a bunch of Chads back in the day of Ton, they all owned a bunch of Ton, and they all said, okay, let's all lock our tokens up for 5 years. The reason we're doing this is to benefit the price and to show alignment with Ton. Okay? So, are these VCs that are going to be getting their tokens and they're going to dump instantly? No. So that's an important thing to understand, that they're not VCs. These are community members that originally believed in Ton. So theoretically, it should be less malignant, let's say, less bad for the price of Ton. Okay, and the on-chain data confirms this. So currently, let's check this out. 8 out of 36 periods have unlocked with a monthly payment of 37 million Ton tokens. Okay, and currently 296 million Ton has unlocked. Only about 38.7 million has actually been claimed and withdrawn. I don't even know if it was sold. Maybe people are even staking what they withdraw. But the point is, only 13% of these unlocks have been claimed. If that rate continues, that's not bad at all, and that's not that bearish. So the only thing that would be bearish about it are the narratives around these unlocks. People saying, oh, they could sell, they will sell, and narratives driven around it. Even if they're not selling, those narratives can hold back price. So important to understand that. The last unlock that I wanted to go over is February 21, 2027. This one is insane, okay? 1 billion Ton tokens. So currently $2 billion worth will be unlocked all at once. Okay, now, a couple things about this. These tokens were originally locked. I forget the exact details, but basically there's a chance that the network will agree to just lock them again for an even longer period of time. If that happens, there's no issue. The other thing is that a lot of these tokens are from wallets that haven't made a single transaction in like 4 years, 4 to 6 years. Okay? So these wallets have been not doing anything. There's a good chance that a lot of them have lost their private keys and can't even make a transaction. But this is probably a potential issue. We'll keep an eye on it. February 21, 2027. I mean, this would be like entering the bull run. So this could actually be a very big problem to our thesis short term. So we'll keep an eye on it. But for now, I mean, we kind of just have to wait and see what happens. Short term, even if this wrecks the ton chart, I still think short term, the MNAV gap can close and we can make a couple X's. And hopefully if we make a couple X's, it would be a time to sell. We'll get into the entry and take profits now, actually. Sorry, one last thing. Obviously, there's also a chance we got the thesis wrong. And yeah, I'm talking about ton can bring a lot of people on chain, and AI is going to be a big narrative for ton, right? But I could have gotten that wrong. The prediction could be wrong. Bitcoin can enter a bull and ton doesn't outperform. And also, we saw a lot of altcoins underperform Bitcoin last cycle, so there's potential for that to happen as well. But obviously, it's possible to find the outliers. Like last cycle, Solana was an outlier, and so many people I know caught that trade, including myself. So I think Ton can be a similar coin. It can be one of those alts that outperforms for the reasons I outlined, and yeah, for the reasons I outlined earlier. Okay, so when to enter, take profits, and cut losses. Obviously, this is up to you. Based on the thesis, I mean, maybe you think my thesis is absolute garbage and you don't want to enter at all. Maybe you agree with the thesis, and in that case, this is what I'm doing. I am already in with 50% of the position of a high conviction trade because I think the MNAV becomes neutral in the future. It is like buying ton at 87 cents, okay? Which is a huge discount, right? Like ton is at $2 basically. So it's a pretty big discount. I have the other 50% ready to buy in case ton keeps going down and TONX stays at a 56% discount or increases the discount. This can especially happen if Bitcoin creates another leg lower. So this discount is pretty insane. Since I'm a believer that the discount will eventually go to zero, and I think it will eventually go to a premium once the market is frothy enough and Bitcoin's at a new all-time high, for example. But in the short term, there's definitely an opportunity for this to go to, like, I don't know, even 75%. That would be a bit extreme, but I think we've seen it before. So we'll just monitor it. Basically, we're just monitoring it, and I have the extra 50% ready to buy in case we get that situation. However, I'm not very confident that happens. I think a more likely scenario is actually if ton keeps going down. I'm actually more of the opinion that TONX will go down less, and the MNAV discount will go down to like 40%. But I could be wrong, so we'll keep an eye on it. When to take profits? I will take profits if in the short term the MNAV becomes neutral again. At current prices, we will make a 2.25x. I would hold the rest, treating it as spot ton with high reward potential, like MSTR if you bought very early. Okay, so if you bought MSTR early, basically you got access to first of all, the discount becoming, it ended up becoming a premium rather than a discount. So you get access to that, and you get access to the price action of Bitcoin. So buying these strategy tokens when they're at a discount can be very good. This spot ton, so the portion that I wouldn't sell, would be a bull run position. I would continue to reevaluate as the bull run goes on. Major reevaluation needed close to February 2027, where there is a massive unlock, which we already spoke about. So yeah, because this would be a bull run play, basically, I mean, I could hold it for even 4 years, basically, maybe 3, because we're almost done the bear. And that's a long time to hold. So you got to continue to reevaluate the trade. But part of the reason why I entered 50% currently rather than 25% is because in the short term, the MNAV can go to neutral. And if the MNAV goes to neutral, then we already make a profit, and so we could take profits then. So yeah, I would probably sell 50% of the position if the MNAV were to become neutral right now. So this market cap would go to 442 mil. I would probably take some profits, and the rest I'll just hold as if I'm holding ton stock, okay? Or sorry, ton token spot. Okay, now when to cut losses. This is always tough because in crypto, almost always your thesis being wrong results in losing 100% of what you put in. So you got to keep this in mind. I would particularly cut losses if ton keeps going down and TONX stops being discounted. So if the MNAV goes neutral and ton dumps to 0.87, we would get out at break even. That's an unlikely scenario, but it's possible, and that would be a potential invalidation. I'd probably sell 50% as my original plan when MNAV goes neutral. Whether it's because MNAV went neutral when ton was going down or going up, it doesn't matter. If MNAV goes neutral, I'll probably take out 50%. If ton dumps to 0.87 and the discount stays the same, we reevaluate the crypto market. If the bull run still seems like it will happen and the thesis for tons still makes sense, or maybe even it gets better, and or maybe the thesis stays the same, but now because it's a cheaper price, the risk to reward has increased, then we could buy more. Okay. So one thing with these strategy tokens that I've realized, even with MSTR, is that when we have Bitcoin going into very bearish moments, there's a huge mispricing. We literally saw this with MSTR a while ago. Let me see if I can find it, but I wish I bought MSTR as well as Bitcoin. It was, I think, this period here. This was right before the bull run, and basically, its MNAV was very cheap. It was probably at a discount, and it was like such a free play. Like, it just makes so much sense because this trade is very reflexive to the upside. So as long as Bitcoin runs, now you get access to the price action of Bitcoin along with the Ponzi-nomics of the strategy token. Okay, so now it's pretty insane. If you do research on MSTR, you'll and you know all the details, you'll know what I mean. But the MNAV was at a discount here, and then as the price goes up, the MNAV is constantly at a premium. So what Michael Saylor does is he just keeps printing more shares, selling those shares, and buying Bitcoin with those shares. So now the MNAV being neutral here, let's say, now since he owns more Bitcoin, even though there are more shares, the MNAV is neutral at a 177 share price. And man, I can't explain all the details. I have to make another whole video on that. But the point is, these strategy tokens can definitely be mispriced, and they're very, very reflexive to the upside. So keep that in mind. And yeah, if Bitcoin were to create a new low, then we could have a potential situation where ton goes down and also creates a lower low. I don't know exactly where, but I mean, maybe it goes below $1. And if that's the case, we keep an eye on the discount of ton strategy stock. And if it's at a very insane discount, we could just load the bag. And hopefully the market goes up again, gets frothy, the ton thesis plays out, so ton runs. And if that's the case, then ton strategies can perform very, very well. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's everything. I will probably create more videos if any new information comes out. I will keep you updated, especially in my Telegram, so make sure to join the Telegram. I also created an article on this stock can go crazy, right? Ton strategy. So if you want access to that, link will be in the description. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I will see you all later.